there's no excuse for violence against innocent people. And the Rohingya hold within themselves the same dignity as you do and I do. National reconciliation will take time, but for the sake of our common humanity and for the sake of this country's future, it's necessary to stop incitement and to stop violence. And I welcome the government's commitment to address the issues of injustice and accountability and humanitarian access and citizenship. That's a vision that the world will support as you move forward. This remarkable journey has just begun and has much further to go. Reforms launched from the top of society must meet the aspirations of citizens who form its foundation. The flickers of progress that we have seen must not be extinguished. They must be strengthened. They must become a shining North Star for all this nation's people.
Well, I think the audience here, for many of them, it was a very significant moment. This hall itself was a center for the 1988 student uprising, which was so brutally put down by the regime at that stage. And there will have been people in this audience who had been invited by the US Embassy here. And so there was certainly some sympathy for what he was saying among a large number of the audience. And there was spontaneous applause at one stage during the speech when he talked about the need for national reconciliation. That is shorthand for trying to deal with the sectarian conflicts that have sprung up along the borders and in the northwest of this country. He referred specifically to the Rohingya issue, as you set out earlier on, saying that this country had temples and pagodas and mosques side by side. He referred to the United States and the diversity there as a beacon, really, for how Myanmar should develop. There were large chunks of this speech that really read like a pretty stern lecture to the leadership here. There had been some questioning about the timing of this visit, saying, those outside the country especially, saying that this was rewarding a leadership that had only just embarked on the path to reform some 20 months ago, and that this very high-profile visit was coming too soon. Perhaps to counter that, the White House had been saying that this speech would contain things that would be uncomfortable listening for the leadership here, and there was some of that. President Obama said that he referred to activists dressed in white, monks in saffron. There was, of course, the uprising of monks in 2007. Ordinary people responding to a cyclone. The government here was criticized for not responding properly to Cyclone Nargis a few years ago. And he told the audience here, now you can see it, now you can taste freedom, and to protect freedom, all voters, those in power, must accept constraints. And so there was a very clear message to the leadership in Yangon and in the official capital, Naypyidaw. He did not just this speech, he also met President Thein Sein, the former retired general, now the civilian leader of this country. He also met Aung San Suu Kyi at her compound shortly after that. This, though, was the main event of this speech. Of this visit. The speech was very much the main event, and one that he said he was fulfilling his promise that if countries that ruled with a clenched fist, if they unclenched that fist, the United States would extend the hand of friendship. And he said, today I've come to keep my promise.